my joy and privilege to teach here at the Longmont Yarn Shop, which is my local yarn shop. And I want to tell you a little about this class that I'm super excited about. Many times I've taught design your own shawl without charts or math, which is a super easy way to get started doing your own shawls and takes all the mystery out of shawls. Now we're going to do a workshop based on this class, which is pick your elements and work on your shawl that you design. And you don't have to have the whole shawl designed when you come in or even after the first class. You'll get started and then you can do more and more creative steps as you go. So the main thing about designing your own shawl is you need to decide before you get going what shape you want to make and if you want your increases to be eyelet holes like yarn overs, or if you want a more opaque kind of fabric. Those are the only two decisions that you really have to make right off, and then you can go right into creating your own shawl just by starting to knit and then picking up more and more elements as you go. So here are some of the options that you have when you're going into thinking about a shawl that you'd love to have. Of course, the basic kind of shawl that we think of is a right angle triangle, which is like this one. It's two equal triangles that grow from the center, and it ends with a right angle down at the very bottom. But there's many other options for a triangle type shawl other than just the right angle or 90-degree angle. For example, here's one that is called a heart-shaped shawl, which creates these extra long wings so it makes it a little easier to wear. And this one is really sort of like a kerchief or bandana type shawl, a small one. Here's another one in that same heart-shaped design, which creates it's just really a little easier to wear because you have a longer wing, especially in a smaller shawl. Here's another one taking off on that, which is a very, very elongated triangle, which is super fun to do in color work. And this is two different kinds of yarn, one a linen blend and one with a mohair. And those two create a very, very interesting texture, even though they're almost the same color. And another option that we have is, obviously with a triangle type shawl, you have two sections that are equal, creating the wrap shape that you're going to make. But you can also do many other kinds of sections. Like, for example, here's a semicircle, which is 3 equal sections, which is also a really, really fun one to wear and a beautiful one to create. And here's another kind of option, which is 3/4 of a square in 3 equal triangles. So it's all in the placement of the increases and how you want the shawl to be shaped that these shapes are created. And the placement of the increases and how frequently you do them creates all the different shapes. So this one is 3/4 of a square. It's also possible to do a whole square with an opening down the front, which is also another interesting option. Now, also super popular right now are the crescent shawls, which start from the center, similar to a triangle-shaped shawl, but they do not have a spine down the center. So it creates a very long, elongated kind of crescent. Like this one is very interesting. That could be used also. That kind of shape can be created also. And here's another one in crescent with a color work option that is very ingenious, and there's a lot of options there's a lot of variations you could do on that one too. Another super popular design right now is the asymmetrical triangle, which starts with casting on 3 to 6 stitches on the very end, starts down at this end, and then every right side row has an increase, so that you end up with a very long triangle, and then the bind-off row is down here. This very long piece here. And that when it's all blocked out and everything, it creates an asymmetrical triangle. And that's a super popular design right now too, with a lot of different options for how you can make it work. And here's another crescent type shape shawl, which comes out almost like semicircle. Another really beautiful option. And here's another one that hasn't been explored much, but I think has a lot of potential, which is a traditional triangle shawl, which you can see is right here. It's a traditional triangle. And then when you get down to the point right here, as long as you want to make it long this way, you bind off half the triangle, and then just keep going on the other side of the triangle. So that one I think has a lot of interesting variations that can be worked with it too. So what we're going to do in the class is start with the color that you love and creating the shape that you want, and then as we go we can add in color work and also lots of different trims and bind off options. You can have a garter edge, you can have a lace trim, you can have lots of color work, you can do a fade. There's just lots and lots of options that can be worked into anything that you have, and this is a great way to use up scraps too, or to use your very, very most special skein of yarn that you've been saving for a while. This is a great way to do it because you'll be creating a one-of-a-kind piece that's truly your own design. So come join us.